innovation. And that's what you get with art now in terms of interpretation of art. And so we feel it's absolutely important to support heritage, tradition through art, and we have done, particularly in London, but we've done it all around the world, in museums, in Shanghai, in Taipei, in Bern, but all across the world. And for us it's important to promote heritage. I mean, we're a bank of 156 years old, and for us it's important to bring in some of the historical past into today's regime and society. And I think promoting excellence through art is definitely one of our corporate brand strategies. And we feel that it's all about collaboration in today's society and bringing that forward.
And when you say corporate brand strategy, is that, obviously sponsoring an exhibition presents an extraordinary opportunity to cultivate your clients and to invite them. Is that the sort of one of the principal motivations, or is it more about your brand, your identity, being perceived as a firm that values culture and that is really stepping in at a time when, as I mentioned, arts funding is, really quite tenuous in many parts of the world?
I think it's hand in hand. Yes, it's all about promoting likeliness of what our brand means, but also demand from our clients and getting accessibility. We all know globally it's all about the growth of the emerging markets, and what does that mean? But we've also seen a spurt in the emerging markets in terms of collectors. And our clients globally, who are globally based, are actually now a demand to access art. Unlikely in terms of history, that wasn't the case. It used to be the developed world, but now we've seen really a broadening of the markets in terms of transparency, in terms of actual wealth by the East, and that has definitely filled over into art's demand. And so we believe that strategically being placed in collaboration with Christies like yourself, which we have done in the Middle East for the last 4 or 5 years, but all around the world, that also provides as a value-added service for our client base as well.
And there are certain banks which have been very well known for advising their clients in terms of art acquisitions and helping them to develop balanced portfolios which include art as an asset class. How does Credit Suisse feel about that? Does Credit Suisse sort of look at art as an investment?
It's very interesting. I mean, there's two forms we look at when we look at clients on an art. One is passion, the other an investment. But we find that some of our clients who are sort of look at it in an investment perspective always move towards passion, because it really invigorates and it really provides passion once you start investing. So you forget about the investment part and it becomes really a like and
Chowdhury and Mr. Jahangir is also here with us, and Mahmood and also another person. So we have been awarding also, and then from 2011 we have also incorporated autistic and physically oriented challenged children also in this competition. So they are also joining this forum.
Fantastic. So it's a really incredibly impressive sort of sense of social responsibility and awareness. And in a sense, although of course there's the obvious link between painters and paint, it isn't every paint company that has a real commitment to supporting the arts at this kind of level.
As I told you, that we have been toying with this idea of supporting them, because artists do struggle, isn't it? Starting to the wings of Bengal. So we thought that why not? So this is the commitment that we have, and we are going to continue in the future also.
I think it's inspiring for all of us sitting here, having seen over the last few days works of young artists in particular, to know that there is local corporate support is really heartening. Kamran, Credit Suisse being such a sort of global, major brand and bank with a huge sponsorship sort of project in profile, does Credit Suisse itself have an art collection?
Yes, it does. I mean, look, art is a very, in terms of when you look at the value, very subjective. Depending on the time and place, one can look at what the value is. So we don't try to put too much of our financial base in art. But what we do promote, and that is really heritage and culture around the world, where we can secure art and then provide that for viewing in public museums. Credit Suisse will definitely be there in providing support, and we have done in terms of our corporate social responsibility investing. So it's definitely a big part of that, what we know as SRI, social responsible investing, in which we try to make sure that local art, if it has a heritage link, is actually kept within those particular regions, and it's not left out of the public domain and it's kept within a private viewing area. So this is what we try to do in promoting art, heritage, tradition, and then letting that being viewed by the mass public. So it is part of our corporate link rather than a purely investment per se, but we do have a substantial amount of art in terms of our balance sheet, but which are public view.
And obviously, I mean, you're a worldwide business. Has the collecting of Credit Suisse and has the sponsorship of Credit Suisse extended to, lesser known markets like Bangladesh, or?
Well, we're here. It's one show of our commitment and collaboration for the emerging markets. It is something I can say hand on heart, and that is our devotion for the growing region, for the developing region, and with our partnership with Mrs. Hamdani, and we expect that to grow, and with nurturing others, we do see this as a very much a growth market, a growth area, and we expect it to see much more, I guess, participation by ourselves, definitely in Southeast Asia and in South Asia and within the Indian subcontinent. So it's a growing market, a growing area, it's a growing base for us, and we expect to be of a larger presence on an ongoing basis.
I know that music is also incredibly important to Credit Suisse. Great sponsors of music and film and cinema and sort of art that one is buying to invest in or that doesn't have a sort of long-term value, performance art.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is all really part and part of what we know as committing to a similar brand to ours. That is, again, innovation and tradition and cultural links as well. I think these are all important in how we try to partner, I think, globally with initiatives, but also with our clients. And it's the client's need. That's the most important aspect. A great aspect of what we've seen is clients of ours wanting to indulge and go into the arts world and fine arts. And so we have to really facilitate that. And much more presence. And the growth, as you very well know, is coming from the emerging markets, whether it's buyers, whether it's artists that we know of. And that's something that I think really we need to be a partnership of, and we are going forward.
And Mahmood, I'm really interested in, as you say, in a sense, your collecting or your corporate collecting has been driven by passion. It's been a little bit haphazard, but driven from the heart, as it were. But, from your love of the art of the region. And now it's becoming a little bit more formalized. You have some curatorial input. Ultimately, I imagine you'll start to catalog the collection. You might publish it. What do you feel you're fairly unique in Bangladesh, in the region, being a bank that collects, that has an interest in displaying works of art, or do you feel that this is part of a growing trend, probably, hopefully, inspired in part by what's happening right now with the art of it?
Thank you. I definitely think that we are the first one in this consumer bank point of view. There are small corporates in Bangladesh who have got great connection, but they are more into the one office, two offices corporate. In Citibank, when we really thought out and said, all right, an area of passion where we can get in. There are companies who have gone in with cricket, which is probably the passion of the nation. There are companies which has gone in with something else. We looked at art and culture. So we have been trying to, in a very humble way, promote a bit of what's happening in the cultural scene. The French Drama Festival is now only the Rabindranath Tagore's 150th birthday celebration, which went on for a year and a half. We were a part, either as a main sponsor, or a prime sponsor, or a co-sponsor. We were a part of it. On the art scene, to the fine art directly, yes, we are now consciously trying to build in and get in there, because we feel as a bank, we actually have a lot of representation points throughout the country, which maybe other corporates don't. And we have visitors coming into the branches, which in other corporates maybe we won't have to. And it would be a great opportunity for a bank actually to get in and use their branches, use their point of sites to actually display work of art, one. Two, we would definitely now like to take a lead on this one, and I'm sure there will be more financial institutions following this. Because there's a lot of things that are coming out of it. One is for the purpose of telling your clients who you are. It's a communication that you're doing other than your money that you spend on your branding strategy. If you start building priority centers and wealth management centers, you actually then can have a full-time advisors of your curators or galleries as to telling your clients that, all right, these are the opportunities that we would like to give you in building your own portfolio. As you know that we are the sole franchisee of American Express in Bangladesh, that has a very top-end clientele. And for that reason, we would now like to do certain exhibitions for our clientele specifically. The floor that you have visited, we have thought that it was a good idea to do certain exhibition of joint artists, single artists, that we can actually sponsor them for our clientele shows only. So we are moving into a specific area where we are thinking that it started with a passion, personal passion, got to be collective passion, but I think we're trying to put it into a corporate passion now. And yes, we will. I think other than a few pictures which you will see in every head office of all banks, which I don't call collection, I think we'll be the first one going this way. And I am sure that in this market, if we can take a bold step and make a statement, there will be many to follow.
Wonderful to hear.